How's it going, Z fam? Welcome to another video. Today we are going to be doing we're going to be doing a little bit of fishing with Zumwar, but it's going to be a little bit different. Today we're fishing with philosophy. This is something that I've been talking about I wanted to do for a while. I'm going to combine my philosophy with Zumwar and my fishing with Zumwar series into two things, whereby what I do is I fish in video games and I philosophize. So I actually tried to record this video while fishing and also talking about the subject matter, but it was a lot more difficult than I gave the fishing credit for, because I had to. The thing is, when it comes to philosophy, guys, you kind of have to think. You know what I mean? You have to really crack the noggin on the old educational, bookcase. I don't know what the heck I'm saying. Okay, listen. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. You have to think. And the thing with fishing, and I guess I was doing it in Animal Crossing, is that it actually requires a bit of brain power to catch the fish. So either I would get a point across and not catch any fish, or I wouldn't get any point across and catch some fish. So I'm going to record my voice over the fishing in the background. Because that's yeah, I might cut in every now and again and be like, oh my god, look at this fish I just caught. But we'll see what happens. All right, we're just gonna try this out. So anyway, let's get into the video real quick. It's a really long intro already. The first episode of this it's going to be a series of sorts for sure, but the first episode is going to be on something that I've been thinking about quite a bit actually for this current time era, 2020, which, as you guys know, 2020 hasn't been a very good year for most people. In fact, it's been quite a bad year. We're not going to talk about that because we are going to focus on the future. We're not going to focus on the past. We're not going to focus on the negativity that is surrounding us. We're going to focus on something that we can use to better ourselves. That's generally what philosophy was. Fishing with philosophy is going to be about. It's going to be about bettering ourselves and or throwing out topics of really thought that we need to, we don't need to, but we can kind of think about if we want, you know what I mean? And I mean, it's generally going to be things that have been on my mind as of late. And something big that's been on my mind as of late is kind of goals. The main topic of today's video is going to be a goal-orientated self is my new self. Okay, so I need to kind of go into my last, I'd say about like 7 or 8 years of my life to kind of talk about this, because it's interesting. I've lived two different very specific types of lifestyles, and I kind of want to share with you both of those lifestyles, one aspect of it anyway, not like everything obviously, but one aspect of it that really kind of helped me be more productive where I'm currently at right now. And I kind of understand this now. It's something that's very common that we necessarily do or don't do. Some people take advantage of this, some people don't. And I kind of want to just talk about my experience with it. So let's hop right into it. So back in 2013 through I want to say 18 or 19, those like 4 or 5 years, my entire life was heavily scheduled. Okay, so when I say heavily scheduled, literally everything that I did was scheduled, including free time, including meals. Everything was scheduled. I would literally put like at 12:15 to 1 o'clock. That is time I have to myself. I can do whatever I want. It's gonna be great. I can relax, and etc. This is I'm not actually exaggerating. Like, it was literally every single thing in my life was scheduled. And I might sound insane to you guys, but the reason I had to do that is because I had so much stuff that I had to do that I had to make sure got done. So I had to make sure that all of my time spent just existing was put towards a specific task that allowed me to basically do these things. And that's something I kind of want to get into it, because let's say, guys, okay, just take a second right now, and you don't have to, but think about this. If you scheduled every single thing that you did every single day how much free time do you think you'd actually have? Okay, let's say you have school or a job that's like 8 or 10 hours, right? Out of 24 hours, okay? Let's say you sleep for, I mean, I'm trying to sleep for only like 6 hours. I don't necessarily recommend that, but let's say you sleep for 8 hours, so that's 18 hours, okay? How many more hours you got in the day? That's 6 more hours in the day. Let's say you got like 2 hours of eating and, I don't know, driving or just kind of, you know, transporting. That's 4 more hours. What are you doing with those 4 hours? And that's only if you're working like 10-hour days. What are those 4 hours doing? So when I scheduled, I was able to get so much more done, okay? What I got done was I learned skills. I'd like saying play the violin. Like I would schedule 30 minutes of playing the violin every day or whatever. And I started learning the violin, you know what I mean? Or 30 minutes of studying Spanish. I would start to learn Spanish, you know what I mean? It was just numerous things that I was able to schedule and do. Now, with this idea, you'd think that everything being scheduled would have very little rest time, and so you'd think I'd always be tired. But in reality, that wasn't necessarily the case. Because, well, it wasn't and it was, because I kind of was tired, but it was a specific type of tired that you got when you are exhausted. Now that might sound very obvious, but in reality it's not, because there's different types of being tired. There's the type of being tired where you've worked really, really hard, and so your body is exhausted, or mentally exhausted, that's another one. And then there's another one where you haven't been doing like anything, so your body is slovenly, and so it thinks it's tired, but in reality it's not. So I can tell you which type of tired helps you sleep better at night. And it's the one where you're actually physically or mentally exhausted. It allows you to sleep better at night, which actually gives you more energy throughout the day because you have a better night's rest. And honestly, that's some good tea. You'd think that after scheduling everything that you would get bored or run out of things to do, but in reality it allows your brain to think, man, I got so much free time, I could do whatever I want. And it actually, if you give your brain that space to think about what it wants to do and just have the time set aside to be like, I could do something then, your brain will actually come up with some pretty sick ideas. It'll be like, you know what, I do want to learn to be an artist. That would be kind of cool, you know what I mean? Or I do want to make a YouTube channel and start editing videos and spend, you know, another full-time job on the side that doesn't make you any money. You know, that could be fun. Yeah, let's do that. That's actually how I started my YouTube channel, was I was scheduling so much, because I would schedule aside the time to work basically 2 full-time jobs, which was pretty fun, but very tiring. But it was, like I said, a good tired. So having said that old way, I said that was up to like 2018-ish. Let's go from 2018 to now, okay? What happened when I let that go? Because what I did was I completely switched. I like 180, okay? I didn't schedule anything. I wouldn't commit to like any plans. People would be like, you know, let's hang out at this time, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, maybe we can. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't give a specific time of when I would do things. I would just be like, sure, let's yeah, I can do that around, you know, whenever, you know, like, oh yeah, tomorrow I'll make a video and I'll edit it and put it up, you know. I wouldn't commit to anything. If you think about that and you compare it to a life that's super restricted and scheduled, you'd think that's a much more free lifestyle. Like you'd have more time to do things, to be honest, because you'd think like, man, you're free. You have like, there's no commitments. Like let's say someone asks to hang out and I'm like, yeah, sure, I might be able to hang out. I don't necessarily commit to it, so I could change my mind at any time. You know what I mean? Like, oh, that's more freedom, technically, you'd think. But in reality, it's a false freedom. Now, what do I mean by false freedom? So what it does is it puts into your mind that you're not necessarily going to commit to this activity. And I can tell you for a fact that whenever I didn't actually commit to the activity, it wasn't because I was doing something else. It was because I would rather just sit there and do nothing. and the reason that I would rather sit there and do nothing is because I've put into my mindset that scheduling is bad. Okay, doing things necessarily on a schedule and just kind of activities, no matter what it is bad. And it's a psychological mindset. And what it is, it's a very slovenly lifestyle. It's a lifestyle whereby you don't really do much. I would spend most of my time just like watching YouTube or watching Twitch, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a time of relaxation to watch YouTube or Twitch, you know what I mean? Time of entertainment. It's something that you can look forward to. But I was spending way too much time doing that. And what that does is it's a specific type of rest. That's actually another video I can do entirely on Fishing with Philosophy, is that relaxing in the incorrect way actually loses you energy. You'd think like, oh man, I'm so tired, I don't actually want to commit to this thing with this person or with to myself, like making a video or going hang out with a person, because I'm tired. But in reality, doing that thing would actually give me more energy, because what I end up doing is I would watch the 15th YouTube video for that day, or watch the 8th hour of live streaming that day. That's not necessarily a bad thing, especially if you have it on in the background, you're doing other things, you know what I mean? But if you relax too much in a specific way, it actually makes you more tired. I'm gonna make that into another video entirely, to be honest. And also, if you actually commit, like let's say it's with another person, like a friend or anyone, like a family member, you actually gain respect and trust from those people, and then they're more positive influences on your life if they're good people, you know what I mean? You need people in your life to be good friends. Like, everybody needs that. There's no person, like even hermits, like they need something. They need some kind of interaction with humanity. It drives you insane. We are people who want to have relationship in our lives. We want to have friendship. We want to have anything, you know. We want to know people, and we want to have conversation. Which is why this whole series is kind of cool, because it gives us a chance to talk about this stuff with each other. Which, speaking of which, you guys, if you want to continue to talk about this, you can join my Discord in the description, and you can talk about this stuff in my Discord, or you can talk down in the comments too. Another way. All of this being said, okay, I've gone through two different very opposite lifestyles. One very scheduled and rigid and restricted, and one very slovenly and very free of any restriction, very lax. You'd think that because of how I listed it, I would be completely 100% going towards having a scheduled lifestyle. And that's somewhat true, but it's also not. Surprisingly, I'm much more in the middle now. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I have a slight combination of both, and I'm scheduling a lot of different activities, which is allowing me to actually get a lot more done, but I'm giving myself wiggle room. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I woke up at 5 a.m. and I have scheduled make this video. I have it scheduled right at 5 a.m. after I wake up, okay? Obviously, I'm gonna have to wake up and take a shower and maybe have a cup of tea or something. So I started making this video at 5:30. But the thing is, after that, I don't have anything immediately scheduled until, like, let's say 10 o'clock. So I gave myself like 5 hours to do this video, when in reality, it's not going to take me 5 hours. It's probably going to take me like 2, maybe, around there, something like that. So it allows me to not necessarily start it right at 5 o'clock. I can start it anywhere I want in between that time and just kind of make sure I get it done in between that 5-hour slot. It gives me more lax room. It gives me more room to just kind of chill out, do what I want. And you can't necessarily always do that, but for certain things, obviously. But for something like this, where it's YouTube, it's just my passion. It's something I do in my spare time. Scheduling this video in that time frame gave me more free space to do stuff, because I don't have something that's like an actual commitment until the afternoon or something, you know what I mean? So I just schedule it there, and I have something scheduled at noon or whatever, and it just allows me to have a little bit of wiggle room. But I'm still scheduling it, and I'm finding that this is definitely the best way to do this, because it's allowing me to get more stuff done while also still having the time to myself to relax or watch a YouTube video or do any I'm going to get into that relaxing video. That's definitely going to be the next one, guys. All right, look forward to that one. But all right, let me get to the end of this video. So I believe I said at the beginning of this video that this is about goals. Pretty much all I did was talk about scheduling. But the thing is, this is one aspect of goals that's very, very important. It's allowing yourself the time to do things that you necessarily should or should not be doing. And you kind of realize that when you do this both and version of scheduling. You give yourself a little bit of wiggle room, but you also schedule things and you commit to things for the sake of yourself and then for the sake of other people. 2020 may have had some massive bumps in the road for this world. A lot of people have very good examples of this. It could go from anything, from the coronavirus to the fires to racism to all that kind of stuff. It shouldn't slow us down, guys. In fact, we should look at this and think, I want to do better than 2019. So that way 2021, or the latter half of 2020 even, because now the world's opening up, we're mankind. And we're not going to be stopped by any bumps in the road. Now, I said at the beginning of this video that it was about goals. We got to make goals that we can obtain. Now, you might think, like, don't go for goals that are out of reach necessarily. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying set a goal for yourself, and even if it seems like it's out of reach, it might not be. Because you're scheduling, these goals might actually be achievable. The goals are only achievable if you allow yourself the time and space to reach them. This is one way, a very big way, I might add, that you can get that time and space. Good luck, everybody. Have a great day, Z-Fam. Peace out.